Livermore and Pleasanton both rank amongst the Bay Area's most desirable suburbs, but they attract completely different homebuyers. The right choice for you could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential buyer's remorse and hours of commuting. In this video, I'll help you figure out which area fits your actual needs and your long-term goals. Because in the East Bay, the wrong move isn't just expensive, it's personal. Let's jump into it. First off, who lives in these places and what makes the local economy tick? Livermore is the big dog in the Tri-Valley, with more than 80,000 people calling it home. It's literally the easternmost city in the Bay Area, so it's got this cool dual identity, where it's still part of the Bay Area, but also the gateway to the Central Valley. They've managed growth pretty carefully over the years, which has kept it from feeling like it's bursting at the seams. Pleasanton, a bit smaller, with about 75,000 residents. But here's the kicker. It consistently ranks as one of the wealthiest mid-sized cities in the entire country. I'm not joking. The people here tend to be high-earning professionals. You'll see a lot of luxury cars and normal-looking driveways. But the economies in these two places couldn't be more different, and that changes everything about how they feel. Livermore's economic background? Science and wine. I'm serious. The Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory and the Sandia National Laboratory employ thousands of wickedly smart scientists, researchers, and support staff. I toured Lawrence Livermore Lab last year and I was mind blown. This stuff sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. I'm talking nuclear security, clean energy breakthroughs, medical research that could change healthcare as we know it, and there's an undercurrent of innovation that just permeates the town. And then there's the wine scene. Livermore is home to over 50 wineries, and not tiny wineries. I'm talking legitimate wineries that include Wente and Kincannon. I recently spent the week in vineyard hopping for research. Tough job, I know. And I'm constantly amazed by the range of wineries here in Livermore. You've got everything from massive establishments with gorgeous tasting rooms to family spots creating batches that sell out instantly. But flip over to Pleasanton and the economic story is totally different. It's a corporate central. Safeway, Workday, and Oracle all have facilities located in Pleasanton. Drive down Hacienda or Hopyard Business Park, and it's corporate office after corporate office after corporate office. These complexes are filled with tech, finance, and healthcare professionals. Pleasanton also hosts the Alameda County Fairgrounds. This is not just an annual fair, which is cool by the way. It hosts year-round major events that pump in visitors and cash into local businesses. So think about it. Livermore is this science meets wine, and Pleasanton has this more corporate feel to it. That difference shapes about everything else about these communities as well. And speaking of shaping communities, the jobs in these cities directly impact the schools. Let's check out what families can expect from the education scene in both cities. But before we dive in, if you like this content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I've got plenty more videos like this to come and you won't want to miss them. For most families in the suburbs, schools are a make it or break it kind of thing. And both cities bring some serious educational game. In Livermore, you've got the Livermore Valley Joint Unified School District with 9 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools. Livermore High and Granada High. What's really cool about Livermore schools is how they tap into all that science brain power in the community. And here's something really cool. The partnerships with the Lawrence Livermore Lab are seriously impressive. Teachers at Granada High, for an example, have seen their students go from the classroom to real-world research positions thanks to opportunities like lab tours, internships, and mentorships. It's not just about reading textbooks. These students are getting hands-on experience with cutting-edge science, setting them up for incredible careers. Plus, several Livermore schools have earned California Distinguished Schools status, including Arroyo Seco Elementary. And they're not just STEM-focused. There's strong arts and humanities programs too. For college, Livermore residents have Las Positas College right in their backyard. It's affordable and has strong transfer pathways to UC and CSU schools. Super convenient if you have kids who might want to start their higher education journey closer to home. Now, Pleasanton Unified School District, they've earned an A+ rating from niche.com, putting them at the top tier statewide. Their student-teacher ratio is 23-1, which is not too shabby for a public school district. What really stands out about Pleasanton schools is their performance across the board. Whether it's test scores, college prep, or graduation rates, a lot of families have chosen to move here specifically for the schools. Like one local parent who moved from San Francisco, they found that Pleasanton wasn't just focused on academics, but also developing the whole child with strong arts, sports, and support services. It's its well-rounded approach that makes Pleasanton a top choice for families looking for better schools. Additionally, being so close to Silicon Valley, Pleasanton schools have built-in connections to the tech industry. Companies regularly show up for career days, offer high school internships, and fun technology programs in the classrooms. For higher education, Pleasanton does not have its own community college. However, Chabot in Hayward isn't too far away. Parents I've talked to gave Pleasanton the slight edge for kids with learning differences. They mentioned more specialized programs and better staff-to-student ratios in their schools. And one area where Livermore shines, vocational education. They've kept strong shop programs, agricultural education, and career technical pathways that have disappeared from a lot of Bay Area schools. But beyond hitting the books, what really sets these two cities apart is overall lifestyle. Let's dive into the community vibe and things to do that will shape your everyday life. Now, here's where Livermore and Pleasanton really go their separate ways: the community and what there is to do for fun. Livermore has completely transformed its downtown over the last decade. First Street used to be pretty sleepy, but now it's poppin'. Farm-to-table restaurants, craft cocktail spots, and local shops you actually want to buy stuff from. In the heart of Livermore's cultural scene is the Bankhead Theater, a 500-seat venue that hosts everything from symphony orchestras to jazz, community theater, and film festivals. I caught a California symphony show there last month, and the sound was incredible. It's the kind of cultural experience you normally have to drive to Berkeley or SF for. And get this, just a few blocks from downtown, we've got local tasting rooms without even having to drive to the vineyards, although I promise you, you'll want to do that too. And those wineries, they're Livermore's highlight. With over 50 wineries ranging from big names like Wente or local family-owned businesses like Retzlaff that specializes in organic wines and has beautiful picnic grounds. So many locals told me that they thought they would miss Napa after moving out to the East Bay, but they've actually found that they prefer Livermore because of its laid-back scene and less touristy atmosphere. And for outdoor lovers, Livermore's got it made. Sycamore Grove Park spans 800-plus acres with miles of trails. Del Valle Regional Park, it's just a quick drive from downtown. It's got a 5-mile lake surrounded by hills that you can swim, boat, fish, and camp at. Perfect for when you need to escape without driving for hours. And the events calendar, it stays packed all year round. The Livermore Valley Wine Festival, the Livermore Rodeo, named the world's fastest rodeo, and local concerts in the parks, there's always something to do. Meanwhile, Pleasanton has a totally different but equally cool vibe. Main Street is pure classic, all-American, small-town charm. Century-old buildings with small boutiques, upscale restaurants, and specialty shops. While Livermore's downtown seems a bit more modern and edgy, Pleasanton's downtown seems a bit more established and refined. Community life in Pleasanton revolves around regular events that bring everyone in the community together. The Weekly's Farmers Market is seriously one of the best in the East Bay, and vendors come from all over Northern California to be a part of it. During summer, the first Wednesday street parties turn downtown into this amazing festival atmosphere once a month. But the biggest event of all, the Alameda County Fair. A 3-week extravaganza with concerts, horse racing, exhibits, and carnival rides. It's one of California's biggest county fairs and draws people from literally everywhere. For getting outside, Pleasanton has super well-maintained parks throughout the city. Pleasanton Ridge gives you breathtaking views of the entire Tri-Valley. The Pleasanton Tennis and Community Park is where active families hang out. It has courts, pools, and playgrounds, you name it. Pleasanton also makes everyday life easier with access to shopping. The Stone Ridge Mall offers major retailers, unlike Livermore, where you might have to drive a little bit farther for specific shopping needs. Both cities have a great restaurant scene, but with different personalities. Pleasanton leads more towards upscale dinings and chains, while Livermore has more localized special spots and experimental concepts. When I asked folks about what they love most about where they live, Livermore folks kept saying that they enjoyed our downtown community while still being able to be just minutes away from vineyards and hiking trails. Pleasanton folks raved about how polished and convenient everything is and its well-maintained downtown and establishments. But enjoying all these amenities depends on how easily you can get around. Let's talk about commutes and transportation. Your daily commute can make or break your quality of life. So let's talk about how these cities stack up in terms of getting around. Livermore sits where two major highways meet. 580, which connects Oakland to San Francisco westbound, and 680, which connects Livermore to the Central Valley eastbound. This makes driving pretty straightforward, unless of course you hit Bay Area traffic. The biggest challenge for Livermore, no access to BART. The closest BART station is currently in Dublin, which is about a 10-minute drive. So if you want to take BART into the city or anywhere else, you have to drive to Dublin and park, which is not exactly ideal. I talked to several Livermore residents, and they said that the journey to and from San Francisco takes about an hour each way. That's definitely standard for outer East Bay communities, but definitely something to factor in if you're thinking about making the trek. But get this, Livermore does have one ace up its sleeve when it comes to transportation: the Altamont Corridor Express, also known as the ACE train. With plans to have a station right downtown, it'll run from Stockton, Pleasanton, Fremont, and San Jose. This makes Livermore surprisingly well connected for South Bay commuters. Pleasanton, on the other hand, has major transportation advantage with the Pleasanton BART stations. For San Francisco commuters, this saves about 15 to 20 minutes each way versus commuting to Livermore. Like Livermore, Pleasanton sits at the crossroads of 580 and 680, so highway access is solid in all directions. Being slightly further west, it also makes for shorter commute times into Oakland or Berkeley. For Silicon Valley commuters, Pleasanton wins hands down. The drive from San Jose to Pleasanton is about 30 to 35 minutes versus the 40 to 45 minutes driving to Livermore. Within the cities themselves, both cities have been trying to become more bike-friendly, although neither one of them is exactly Amsterdam. Pleasanton has better bike paths within city limits, while Livermore has prettier routes into the countryside. Transportation is usually a big deciding factor for people choosing between Pleasanton and Livermore. If you're commuting to San Francisco or Oakland, Pleasanton's BART is a major perk. For folks working in the Tri-Valley or who have flexible schedules, Livermore tends to win, as you can get a lot more space for your money in Livermore. It really comes down to how much your daily commute shapes your lifestyle. And that brings us to our next point. Now that we know what daily life is like, let's talk about affordability. Here's where rubber meets road. Pleasanton and Livermore are noticeably different in affordability. Let's cut to the chase. The median home price in Livermore is $1.2 million. In Pleasanton, it's higher, closer to $1.7 million. That puts them at a pricier tier of East Bay communities, but still way more affordable than the Peninsula or other surrounding neighborhoods. The big difference, what money actually buys you. In Livermore, a $1.4 million budget stretches further, giving you more space inside the home and bigger lot outside. Just last month, I toured a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home with 2,800 square feet on a quarter acre in Livermore, which was priced at about $1.35 million. A similar priced home in Pleasanton, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,200 square feet on a much smaller lot. The value gets even wider at lower price points. Starter homes in Livermore are around $900K to $1 million, and they typically give you more space and better condition than similar priced properties in Pleasanton. Here's the bottom line: you typically get larger homes and bigger lots compared to Pleasanton. In Pleasanton, you're paying a premium for things like top-tier schools and a shorter commute. Beyond the resale market, both cities are tackling housing development and affordability differently. Livermore has focused and targeted affordable housing projects, like the Eden Housing Downtown Livermore Apartments, 100-plus units, low-income families earning between 20 to 60% of Alameda County's median income. These apartments are walking distance from downtown and local transit. Pleasanton's approach shows up in recent housing element update, which plans to add 7,787 new units by 2031. Pretty ambitious. They'll do this through rezoning, infill development, and new construction in specific growth areas. Rental markets tell a similar story as well. Recent data shows fair market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Pleasanton is $2,600 a month. This requires a household income of over $105,000 a year. Similar apartments in Livermore go for about $200 to $300 less a month. Now, one housing advantage in Pleasanton is neighborhood consistency. Much of Pleasanton was designed during specific time periods with master planning, which creates more flow through the communities, giving it more uniform and a curated look. Livermore's longer history and varied development patterns mean greater architectural diversity, but also more mixed quality of homes. For first-time buyers, Livermore offers a more easy entry point for home ownership. There are more starter homes and townhouse developments at a lower price, and Pleasanton stock leans more towards larger single-family homes. But here's the story. Buyers typically start out looking in Pleasanton and then realize they can get a lot more for their money in Livermore. Instead of settling for a smaller home or townhouse, they end up coming to Livermore and getting a lot more for their money. With that, the further commute is a trade-off that most homebuyers are willing to take on for quality of life. But looking beyond today's market, let's compare how these two cities are planning for their future. Both cities are actively shaping what they're going to look like in the coming decades. And these plans will determine how the cities shape out over the next 20 plus years. Livermore is rolling out its Imagine Livermore 2045 master plan, a forward-thinking blueprint focused on smart growth while keeping the city's historic character intact. I've actually attended several planning workshops for this and was impressed by how thoughtfully they're balancing growth and conservation. What really stands out about Livermore's growth is its emphasis on community involvement. Through dozens of public workshops, online surveys, and community meetings, city planners have created the vision for Livermore's future. The resulting plan focuses on creating housing in specific areas while protecting surrounding agricultural land. And let me tell you, environmental sustainability is another big plan in Livermore's growth. With ambitious goals for renewable energy, water conservation, and cutting greenhouse gases, they recently finished a climate action plan that works hand in hand with the general plan. Pleasanton's planning revolves around its housing element update for 2023 through 2031, aiming at those 7,787 new housing units I mentioned earlier. That's a significant bump in the city's housing stock. And this plan involves rezoning around its BART stations and along major corridors for higher density housing, creating new opportunities for apartments and single-family homes. Design standards have been carefully crafted to make sure that the city of Pleasanton remains, still looking like Pleasanton. Both cities face similar challenges in planning for growth, balancing housing needs while trying to control the traffic, preserving community character while welcoming new residents, and maintaining the high quality of life that all the residents have grown to love. Their approaches, though, reflect their totally different personalities. Here's the difference. Livermore tends to take a more laid-back, community-driven approach, while Pleasanton, on the other hand, is more structured and by the book about its development plans. That contrast shapes the character in each city in subtle yet noticeable ways, and the timeline for these changes varies for each city too. Pleasanton's approach is more front-loaded with construction already happening. Livermore's approach is more gradual, with these development plans spanning over 2 decades. So after looking at all this information, which city is actually right for you? We've covered a ton comparing these awesome East Bay communities. Livermore offers more space, character, and affordability. Perfect if you want to mix a wine country charm without breaking the bank. It's ideal for those who value a community vibe and don't mind a longer commute. Meanwhile, Pleasanton leans towards upscale schools, easier BART access, and a more polished suburban feel. If a better fit is education and a shorter commute, this should be at the top of your list. Both give you a great alternative to cities in the inner Bay Area, and it really breaks down to what matters to you. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Livermore, shoot me an email and let's connect. And don't forget to subscribe because I've got a ton more videos coming like this that you won't want to miss.